I think most people today are forcing themselves generally throughout the day to do what they need to do or what they think they need to do. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. Because to me, it never made sense that I should have to fight myself in order to do what's needed. To me, it's crazy that it seems that people are taking it for granted that you would have to fight yourself in order to do what is necessary, quote unquote necessary. How could that be? How would that make sense? If you take a step back, it never made sense to me. It makes sense that if you, for example, go to the gym, you will feel a little bit uncomfortable lifting the weights. But why should I have to fight myself in order to motivate myself to lift them? Because the problem is not that the weights are heavy, is it? That's not what makes it hard. That's not what makes going to the gym hard, is it? What's hard is forcing yourself to go there, isn't it? And what's hard about work isn't spending 8 hours there. It's about forcing yourself to go there, even though you want to do something else. Isn't that what's hard about life? Like, think it again makes me think about like recently I was scrolling through YouTube and somebody just put a meme on there which was like working for 30 minutes and you have this like blacked out face, like the kind of face of despair, but then like grinding 8 hours at a video game, you just feel fine. So to me, it never made sense because I had those moments as well, where I'm just like grinding at something and it doesn't even make sense. And so it always made me think, like, it's not even because of that, but I always thought it just doesn't make sense that you should have to force yourself to do something that's necessary. It's just like, why would you be designed that way? It fundamentally doesn't make sense. If you don't want that, like me, then I have the solution for you, but it's not easy. You actually have to reconcile this conflict in yourself, which is basically between your feelings and your mind. Your feelings, which are like your fears, your desires, and all these things. They all basically amount to your intuition, you could say. So your intuition is like your internal compass, your feelings, right? They are the feelings of motivation, the feelings of inspiration, or the feeling of having no energy, not wanting to do anything, just lacking motivation. And then you have your mind, which is telling you, oh, I should do this, I should do that, or whatever it might be, right? And really, ideally, it should be that your mind is in sync with your feelings. That's how it should be. And to me, it's just crazy that people just take it for granted that, oh, my mind is saying one thing and my feelings are saying another thing, and I'm just walking around with this constant inner conflict. But, oh, that's normal. Yeah, that makes sense. No, it doesn't fucking make sense. Why are you fighting yourself? Why are we fighting ourselves? It doesn't make any fucking sense. It never made sense to me. And I just couldn't accept that as, oh, this is just how things are. This is normal. It was never normal to me. So I always wanted to figure it out. And now I basically have it figured out. It's still not easy, but I have it figured out, basically. So the thing is, like I said, you have your intuition. You have your internal compass. You feel like doing a certain something, but then in your mind, you're thinking, oh, but I should do this. I should work now. I should do this and this and that. Otherwise, so and so and so. But your feelings are telling a different story fundamentally, right? And now the thing that you really need to do is you have to understand. You have to understand. That's what you need to do. Why do you feel the way that you do? Why don't you feel motivated? Why don't you feel inspired? That's the hard thing. That's the real hard work. That's the reason, because you haven't done this work to understand actually what's going on. That is why you have to fight yourself every day to get yourself to do those things that you don't want to do, or that you want to do. You say you want to do them, but at the same time you don't want to do them. Isn't that weird? How does that make sense? You say, I want to go to the gym, but then you don't feel like it. How does that make sense? It doesn't fucking make sense, does it now? Doesn't make any sense. Never did. To me, it didn't. And because everybody is just taking it for granted, nobody ever fucking told me what to do. You have to understand. I just see it now. Like, I kind of understood this subconsciously for a long time, but now I just fully get it. You just have to understand, man. There's this guy called Deepak Chopra. He's an author, and he said it nicely. He said something like, the heart it takes everything into account. Like, we think that the mind knows, but it's really the heart. And really, it is not about what's actually true, like, oh, is our consciousness really in our heart, or is it in the brain? It doesn't really matter, right? It's more like the symbolic kind of, when we're talking about the heart, then what we mean is the feeling. And when we're talking about the brain or the mind, we generally, nowadays, we are referring to the thinking, like what we consciously understand. And so you can understand it that way. Your feelings, your intuition, it already knows. Like, deep down, you already know. Your feelings are what really telling you what you already know. But consciously, a lot of the time, you might not understand it, like why you feel the way that you do. But your feelings are really your highest truth. Like, in your heart, so to speak, again, you already know kind of what's really true. You know when something doesn't feel right. And then consciously you might not understand why, but you have to trust that. And that's the whole challenge, is basically trusting your intuition and learning to understand your intuition. That's what it comes down to. That's how you reconcile this conflict, is understanding why you feel the way you do, understanding your intuition. Because that's the whole subconscious. Basically, your feelings they're including everything that's even subconscious that you're not aware of. It's just like how when you are walking down the street, you don't have to think about placing one foot in front of the other. You just intend to walk and you do it. So this kind of deeper mechanism, right, that is coming from your subconscious is signaling you in the language of feelings. Like, let's say a lion comes and you just feel fear. Think about how unintuitive, how slow you would be if your mind had to explain to you in words that, hey, this is a tiger. The tiger has teeth. If the teeth go into your body, then you're dead. You're already dead. Instead, it just sends you a feeling, fear, boom. You run away, done. But now you, not understanding your feelings, are saying, oh, I know better. I know better than my feelings. And that's the problem. And that's why we are fucking unhappy and why we have to fight ourselves. This is what we really need to do. We need to understand our feelings. We need to understand the intuition. That's your real internal compass. To be honest, it boggles my mind that nobody is just saying this. Nobody's explaining this. Why? People are like, oh no, discipline. Push yourself harder. This is normal. Stupid. Just straight stupid. I'll just honestly say it. It's just stupid. Where are you going with this? What's the goal here? What's the goal? Really, what's the goal in the end? Do you just want to grind your whole life and do whatever bullshit that you don't even feel like doing? What's the goal with that? What are you trying to do? I want to point out that it's not about always feeling pleasant in what you're doing. It's not about that. It's not about always feeling like, oh yes, I want to do this right now. But it's more so about alignment, you know? You know why you're doing it. You're in alignment with why you're doing it. Why you are doing what you're doing. Rather than, okay, I'm living this life, but I don't even know why. Why am I feeling the way I feel? Why am I thinking the way I think? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I living this way? Why am I even living this life, kind of thing? It's about that, you know? Not living like that anymore. So it's a question of alignment. And I think that if we were all in alignment, everybody would just be way happier and we would be way kinder to each other. Like, I don't think it's really about all these things that we have to do, like as if they're the problem. I think the problem is just this issue with being out of alignment. Like, everybody's just out of alignment. They're out of touch with themselves, out of touch with why they are doing what they're doing and why they feel what they feel and so on. That's the real problem, I think. And by the way, this is also where discipline will come from. Like, if you're not feeling motivated, this is where the discipline will come from, is that alignment. You know why you're doing it. Like, where would that voice come from that is talking back when you don't feel motivated in a day, when you're feeling tired? Where do you think that voice will come from that is telling you, okay, but I have to do this. This is important to me. Or I need to do this, yeah, you know? It's because you know why you're doing it. That is discipline. But people who are disciplined, they act as if they're superior to people who aren't. They're fucking not. They just know why they're doing what they're doing. That's all. That's what discipline is. But these people, instead of having the self-awareness to understand, oh, I just know what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, that's why I'm disciplined, they act as if they are a different breed. Kek. Ego. So yeah, get in touch with that. Just like I said, it's quite simple, really. It's quite a simple instruction. You have your feelings and your intuition. Like, basically your intuition, we can say, is your internal compass. That's like, you know, all your feelings, fear, motivation, like not being motivated or whatever it might be, right? Desire and all these things. They are all just pointing you in a certain direction. And you just listen to that and you try to understand it. But if you don't understand it, you know, you have to trust and investigate rather than, okay, I will just push against it and have my way. And it's not like there's anything wrong with pushing against the feelings. Like I said, you know, it's discipline. You can feel tired and like you don't want to do something, but then do it anyway because you do want to deep down. So there's no right and wrong. That's not what I'm saying. But if you're tired of having to fight yourself, then this is how you fix it. Really, this is about self-honesty. You have to admit to yourself that this is what you want to do, or this is not what you want to do. Like, living in alignment is not easy, but it's not about what you're doing or not doing. It's really not about what you are doing or not doing. It's about reconciling this conflict you have within yourself. It's about understanding. Because everything that you're doing is out of your own interest at some point. Even though you might say, oh, this is not what I want to do, but so on and so forth, you're reconciling, blah, 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 blah. But then in the end, it still leads back to you, doesn't it? It always leads back to you in some way, isn't it? Like, if you really didn't care, if it really didn't matter to you, then you wouldn't say that I have to. You would never say that. So really, it's up to you. So I hope this reflection has helped you. It took a few more edits than usual. So do let me know, what are your thoughts? If you have similar reflections to this, also let me know about them. I'm always curious. And other than that, as always, take care and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.